Civilization or Barbarism, an Authentic Anthropology by Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop. But Jeremossov continues. The most sapiential skull related to Maustrian industry was discovered in the USSR and Crimea, near the town of Bakhchisaray, in the shelter of Staroselye. The skeleton of the buried child was discovered at this site. The stratigraphical data are impeccable, and the connection of the burial site to the Maustrian period is incontestable. The skeleton is that of 1.5 to 2 year old child. For all practical purposes, the skull is entirely intact. It has been able to be restored. Archaeologically speaking, it belongs to the final Maustrian period. Its Homo sapiens characteristics are of the equatorial type. Moreover, bones belonging to an adult woman of the Maustrian period were discovered. Jeremossov analyzes these fossils in the following terms. The degree of development of the protuberant chin testifies to the presence of a fully formed Homo sapiens. The morphology of the child's skull and the fragment of the adult woman's maxilla allow us to suggest that these findings fix the nearly final stage of formation of the ancient Homo sapiens in his specific equatorial variant, close to the man of the Machina Gora of the Don. The findings of Stereocelia allow us to place back in the middle Maustrian period the formation of the Homo sapiens of antiquity. It appears from the above that the most ancient Homo sapiens of Europe, as far as the borders of Asia, were Negroids, if one adheres to an objective analysis of the facts. When we move to Asia, the old Asia of Orientalists, what strikes us, contrary to all expectations, is the extremely recent appearance of Homo sapiens sapiens. The carbon 14 analysis done by Chinese themselves helped establish the Ziyang man, estimated by scholars to be 100,000 years old, dates from 7,500 to plus 130 BP or 5,500 BCE. Likewise, the man of the upper cave of the Chalcotian, whom specialists thought equally to be 100,000 years old, dates from 18,865 plus 420 BP or 16,915 BCE. Weidenreich succinctly studied the fossils of this upper cave at the shelter where the Sinarathropus was discovered. He found that one of the skulls, very dolichocephalic, presents both Cro-Magnon and Mongoloid affinities, which in the author's view would make it the primitive type of Mongol. Of the other two female skulls studied, one resembles the Melanesian type from New Guinea, and the other the modern Eskimo type. Weidenreich thinks that the above mentioned dolichocephalic skull might be a very distant precursor of the present day Chinese. But, notes Valois, the present day Chinese appeared only much later in a sudden way, with all of their anthropological characteristics already well established. That is why the Neolithics of the Yangshan period, with the polychrome pottery dating from about 5,000 years ago, and whose skulls were found by Anderson in the provinces of Kansu and Honan and studied by Black already belong to the type essentially similar to that of the North Chinese. All of the prehistoric Japanese sites, except perhaps one in the south, are the Holocene age. Matsumoto has exhumed Neolithic skeletons that rather resemble the Ionis and the men of the recent Paleolithic and European Neolithic periods. So all of the usual Eastern chronology falls apart with the advent of radiometric methods of dating. Here are in review the dates of the appearance of Homo sapiens sapiens in the various known centers of the world. Black Africa, Omo 1 and Kangera, 150,000 years ago. Invasion of Europe by the Grimaldi Negroid from Africa, 30,000 years ago. First Cro Magnon in Europe, 20,000 years ago, using only thoroughly verified dates. Arrival of the Australians in Australia, 30,000 years to 20,000 years ago. Appearance of the first Paleo-Siberian, according to Thoma, 20,000 years ago. First Homo sapiens in China, 17,000 BCE. Appearance of the present Chinese type around 6000 BCE. Appearance of the Nipponese type, Neolithic, perhaps around 5000 or 4000 BCE. And I will stop right there and we'll continue back off Civilization or Barbarism. I'm Uriel Riley. Thank you.